When 86-year-old Dick MacLean from Victoria Cross started playing hockey in the 1940s, it was all natural ice. Things have changed a lot since then, especially the rinks in the communities of Kings County.
I've played in 2 rinks in White Harbour.
Okay.
The old rink, we call it,
Yeah.
and they built the new artificial one about 20 years ago. So Monaco actually is on its 4th rink. I never played in it, but the first rink was over by the Masonic Temple, down in the back street. And the next rink was on the Irving Oil site down here, where the service station is. It was there till 1970 or 68 till they built the new one across Iceland. It was the first artificial rink clear of the form in Charlottetown.
Oh, was that
Summerside,
right?
yeah. And Iceland turned into the Cavendish Centre,
right.
so that's the 4th rink Monica's had. Yeah. And Georgetown are on the 3rd. Well, the whole rink wouldn't be much bigger or longer than this house, enclosed. Yeah. But they had one, the old rink they called it, and then they had one opposite the jail. They built it in 47 or so. And then they built the new one down there with artificial ice in it. Sorry, it just caved in the other day.
That's right, yeah.
But that's what we played, you know, that type of hockey. And they built the new one out on the west end, or the east end of Surrey. Yeah. St. Peter's have a rink, but they never had artificial ice. But it's been there for 25, 30 years. Just as you come on this side of the river, as you go down the hill, it's on the right-hand side. Okay. It's a big ice surface. I played up till about 8 years ago. Morel just did the one rink that I know of, that rink that's been reconditioned a few times.
Okay. The Southern Kings Hockey League was prominent in the 1950s.
But that league was very competitive, and actually Monica was usually at the tail end of the proceedings. Because White Harbour, they were fanatics in hockey. There was 1 or 2 who got on the team in White River. They didn't like White River either, but they had to be pretty good to make the team. Blaney Nicole was a good name in hockey down there. Yeah. But it was White Harbour, Monaco, Georgetown and Surrey, very, very competitive league. And then come March, when the playoffs started, Georgetown were unbeatable on soft ice, what they call soft ice. Okay. Because there was had some good stick handlers and slower players. But in the afternoon, what they do is there'd be a big pile of snow outside the rink. And a day like, well, say if today was up melting like a Dickens in a playoff game tonight, they'd shovel snow in on the ice and scrape it, and would soak up the water.
Getting to a game back then wasn't as simple as jumping in the car. It was an adventure.
Up and down the river, horse and sleigh on Saturday afternoons as you went to Georgetown. We used to leave here at 7 o'clock in the morning by train to go to Surrey. And you'd get to Morel, or to Mount Stewart about 11 o'clock. Train would go to Charlottetown then, and we'd have to hang around Mount Stewart where there'd be nothing doing all day. Till about 4 o'clock in the afternoon the train would come back, and then it'd go from Mount Stewart to Charlottetown, or to Surrey. Really? We'd get into Surrey about 7 o'clock. And then we'd go right to the rink, and Angus Levy was in charge of the rink. Right, yeah. So you had to get by, and when you come in, they're very particular because you had to make sure if you're playing hockey, you get in for nothing. Yeah. But if you're a spectator, you had to pay. So Angus was on the gate. Yeah. Then you get in the rink, you had to get a quarter, give them 50 cents to get the key of the dressing room, and they were spotless and they're heated. And then guess who was refereeing? Angus Levy. So Angus, and he was a timer, so if the game was close 3-2 for Surrey, the 3rd period could end at any time. And then that night you could build it out. The trick was to get the best looking girl in the rink, see if you could follow her home. Surrey come to Monaco and you could build it out. Even Cardigan had a nice little hockey team, but they had no rink. And they'd come over by train and get in here about 7 o'clock in the evening, and they'd be building it out. The thing that if you wanted to look at it is the amount of people that you met along the way and that you knew, and you know, in friendly rinks and unfriendly rinks and everything else. But the biggest thing of all is the people that worked along, even going way back to school teams. Somebody had to put a little time on to be with you know, which at that time people were, well, they were busier trying to survive than to run a hockey team.